Hi, hello, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another video. It has been a minute since we have just had a sit down video together where we chat like I'm talking to you through the screen. Yes, you. Thank you for tuning in. This is the first sit down video in my Colorado apartment. As you know, if you watch my other videos, I just recently moved from New York City to Colorado, and my life has been all over the place, chaotic, busy, all good things for the past 2-ish months. And so all of my recent videos have been more vlog style and taking you out and about, showing you what I'm doing with my day. And it's finally time. I have finally found the time to just sit down and chill with you guys to explain my reasons for leaving New York City. I hope you are excited for today's video, and without further ado, let's get straight into it. So I took the time to sit down and compile a list that I will be sharing with you of my main reasons I decided to leave. And in compiling all of my reasons and whatever, I've really narrowed it down to 3 major points, which ultimately led to me deciding to leave. So those 3 points, more or less in order of relevancy, are that I changed as a person, COVID changed the city, and then roommates. So we're going to be diving into all 3. I just kind of wanted to give you an expectation of what's to come and what I'm going to be elaborating on in this video. So first and foremost, the biggest reason I decided to leave was because I have changed as a person. I moved to New York City in 2019 when I was at a very confusing stage in my life. I was trying to pivot careers. I wanted to do something more creative and more fulfilling with my life. I had just graduated college, and I had big dreams. I mean, if you've watched this channel, you know I'm a big dreamer. And at this time, I thought I really wanted to pursue fashion, and that was it for me. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to help make people feel beautiful. I just wanted to break into that industry. Fashion is something I have always been passionate about. It's not, a new thing for me as of 2019, but 2019 and deciding to move to New York really was a solidifying moment of, yes, I am going for this. This is what I want to do. Let's go make it happen. I also, to be quite honest, I just wanted change. I am born and raised Midwesterner. I grew up there. I went to college in the Midwest. My whole family is from the Midwest. It was basically all I knew, and I felt really out of place there, especially kind of going back to my last point where I was so interested in fashion. Fashion just isn't a thing in the Midwest. I loved to dress up and, creatively express myself through my fashion, as I still enjoy doing today. But anytime I would do that in the Midwest, I would get weird looks from people, and people would always have something to say. And I was truly just sick of it. I wanted to be somewhere where I felt not like the odd person out. I just wanted to feel normal. I didn't want to constantly be explaining to people oh no, I don't have anywhere to go. I just enjoy dressing this way. This is a trivial thing in the grand scheme of life, right? I can handle people coming up to me and asking questions. It's just when you're wanting to make a massive change in your life, and your whole external reality just is kind of pushing back, and it's not a conducive environment to where you're going and where your dreams are. It's really hard to live that way, right? And so I knew New York would be much more me, if that makes sense. I would fit right in with the people of New York. And I did. That part of it was amazing. I also felt, and I still feel at this point in my life, that right now is the time to be making these big moves because I'm single. I don't have kids. I am not tied down anywhere. Like, if I want to go out and explore and live in different places of the country, now is absolutely the time to do that. And so, that's why I decided to go there. But after I got there and I had been living that dream of mine and living in that new reality that I had created for myself, it was amazing. But in these past 2 years, I have done so much personal development work and really working through traumas and healing and things like that. And I'm just a completely different person than I was 2 years ago. My priorities are so different, and what matters to me is so different. When I moved to New York, the biggest things I wanted out of life were like glitz and glam and fashion and crazy nights out with friends and the sparkle that is New York City, the thing that attracts people there, even if it's for a vacation or whatever. It's a very romanticized city, and for good reason. I mean, those are absolutely big parts of New York, or at least they were. We'll get into that. But at this point in my life, the things I want are so different. I now crave ease and peace and quiet. I just need some peace and quiet. I really want to live in a place that is good for my mental health and somewhere where my finances can bloom and I can grow on my wealth journey. That's something that is very important to me at this time in my life. And just overall, my quality of life is so much more of a priority to me now. I was really compromising a lot when I was living in New York City. I was living way above my means. I should not have moved there with the financial state that I was in, or that, to be frank, I was too broke to be living in New York comfortably. That's okay. I feel fine admitting that. I made it work, but I was compromising a lot, and that's just not something I'm willing to do anymore. All of that to say, I am a different person now. I want different things, and I really see Colorado as being a place where these new priorities of mine have room to grow and flourish, and I can just feel in the energy it's a really good change for me. So that's the biggest reason. There's someone right outside my window. That's fun. Moving down the list, if you will, from that, COVID really did a number on the city. If you live in the US, I am sure you heard at one point or another throughout the pandemic that for the good half of, quarantine and our COVID situation and whatever, New York was like the epicenter for cases, and it was really, really bad in the city. The whole experience of living in New York through COVID is something I will never forget. It was surreal. I mean, it was really, really sad, heartbreaking even, to watch this city that you moved to and had such a deep love and admiration for. New York was such a bustling, high vibration city. It had this unique energy to it and this unique vibe. And if you've ever been there, whether you visited or lived there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's very hard to articulate. But to watch that city you love have that aspect of it taken away from itself, it just, wow, that really hurts. When COVID hit, it truly ripped away that aspect of the city. You know, the vibe was just gone. That X factor was just gone. And it was more or less just like any other big city. There was nothing too special about it, obviously in my opinion. And even right up until the day I moved, I can't say I ever felt that energy again. I think that New York is on the path to rebuilding and getting back to that energy. It's not there yet though. And to me, it was no longer worth it to compromise on everything else just to say that I lived in New York, you know? The quality of life isn't there. It's trash. The vibe of the city is gone. The opportunities are greatly diminished, if not gone. So yeah, it wasn't worth it anymore. I mean, why struggle when you don't have to? It doesn't have to be like that. I just want to say too, I think this is an important disclaimer to put in here. I recognize how privileged I am that I can just decide to up and move out of the city. I completely acknowledge that, and there's not a day that goes by when I don't have that in my mind. I'm very grateful that I have the means to move myself to Colorado if I so desire to. I recognize that a lot of different privileges come with that. Finally, on top of, you know, me changing as a person and COVID changing the city, we get to the topic of roommates. And I'm not going to go that deep into the drama surrounding my most recent roommate situation, at least not in this video. I am happy to dive into that in a different video if that is something you guys would be interested in. I think there are lots of lessons to be learned from my past roommate situations because they have not all been good. But more than that, I am just not someone who enjoys living with other people. I need my space. And I need a lot of it. I mean, I can only go for like 1 hour a day, 2 max, talking to people, interacting with people, and then I just need my alone time. Introverted at the extreme. I need my space. For my mental health to be in its best shape, I need distance from people. I just need my own space. Simple as that. I don't need to over-explain it. But in New York City, it is very common that you live with roommates because it is a terribly expensive city, if you don't already know. For me, living in New York was not a viable option without splitting the cost with other people. I could not live in New York on my own. I could not afford to live in New York on my own, alone, what have you. And I was okay with that when I initially moved to the city in 2019. And actually, you know, I would maybe still be okay with that if I could keep some of the good roommates that I've had in the past. But all of that coupled on top of having a hellish situation with my most recent roommate, truly just, oh my God, insanity. I was over it, point blank period. I'm 25 years old. I am a business owner. I am very independent. I am very introverted. I am done putting up with other people's bullshit. Okay? I'm not dealing with it anymore. Especially, I had lived on my own, prior to moving to New York City. So I had had a taste of that freedom of what it's like to live by yourself, and I was missing it. Really, all three of those combined and just weighing the pros and cons of living there, it could have just been one of these 3 reasons, and I would have said, see ya, I'm gonna head out. But truly, I think it boils down to those 3 overarching topics. I I'm a different person, I'm in a different place, I value different things, and I am so ready for this new chapter in life. It feels very refreshing to be here, and easily the best decision I've made in 2021 is leaving. This is not to say that this is the right decision for everyone. And I don't discourage you from moving there if that is your dream like it was mine. I have no regrets about living there. It may not be the best option for me where I'm at in my life right now, but I would not do one thing differently. It truly was the experience of a lifetime, and I have stories for the rest of my life. I mean, just so many stories, so many memories, and I am very grateful for the amount of time that I did have in New York. When I moved there, I didn't know if it was going to be for 3 months or 30 years. I really was just throwing a shot in the dark, and it lasted just over 2 years. It's so funny to me that I moved there just to be in the COVID pandemic, essentially. I had one good year before COVID, and I'm very grateful that I did. But you guys, that is my story of why I decided to say goodbye to New York. I still really love the city, and it's a place that I'm looking forward to visiting in the future, but we're gonna keep it as a vacation spot for now. Maybe someday in the future I'll move back. I don't see that anytime soon, but nothing's off the table. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. If you're new here, definitely go ahead and hit that subscribe button below. I post new videos every Wednesday and Sunday relating to lifestyle, fashion, mindset, all sorts of things. So come hang out with me on Wednesdays and Sundays. Definitely like this video if it was helpful for you or if you enjoyed my story. And with that, you guys, I will see you in my next one. Bye.